Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear and I'm here to build a model kit. Well, actually two model kits. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote into chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. And if you feel like being a lurker, you can just lurk. That's also okay. Lashbrook is here. Welcome and hello, Lashbrook. It's a new month. It's August. We're starting things off. The first stream of the month. Happy to have you here. We're gonna be working on the Char Zaku 2 SD kit, which I have started a little bit. So we're going to build that. I'm going to finish that during the stream. It's very unlikely this will take more than one stream. Hey, Lord Crashton, welcome, welcome. And when that's done, then we will start the G-Quux. Or G-Quarks. We'll go with Quux. Probably G-Quux. We'll start the G-Quux. A kit that also has an axe, much like Char Zaku 2. It's slightly different, but it's pretty much the same axe. And I have heard mixed things about the construction of that kit, so I look forward to seeing how that goes. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well out there. I'm excited for a fun Saturday evening. Let's go to the overhead camera. Ba-boom. I've zoomed in quite a bit here so you can see this kit because it is tiny. You cannot see behind me. Lord Crash, I will hold that in just a second. You cannot see behind me, but I recorded something before the stream, and I had my background non-removed, and behind me, on a display that you'll see in the next episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club, it comes out on Monday. The Vidar is on display. I've added the Vidar to my display collection. It's right next to the Zaku Warrior, the special, the concert version. And I'm pretty psyched about that duo. Anyway, if you're unfamiliar, every month I have a different song that will play if you redeem your channel points for the dance button. So the dance button will commence right now. Here's the new song. Thank you for using the channel points, Lord Crashington. Oh yeah. There's no drop in this one. It's just like a steady dance beat. Also feels like montage music, but a lot of these will. There was a little bit of a drop, but not really. It's more just a build. Good artificial bass in that song. But yes, so that song plays when people redeem channel points for me to hit the dance button. So, you know, there you go. Put this here. We did the chest here. So we were working on the right arm, the shield arm, and then we would work on the left arm, the spike arm, if you're looking at a Zaku 2. I have not done the math. I would like to do the math at some point and figure out how many Zakus that I have built. How many Zakus have I built? How many Zaku 2s have I built? You know, like, I definitely built an SD Zaku 2, but it was an SDEX. So it had a lot more stickers and stuff. So I have done that, but I don't think I've done a Char Zaku 2. Anyway, this was sent along with the Vidar from DSHS, so thank you very much for that. And I'm able to put that together because of your generosity. And then the G-Quux I purchased with money. Monies that I have. Speaking of money, I'm not going to complain too much about this or too often, but... okay, so goddamn Patreon changed how they process money again. Every once in a while they do something where they changed it. Now, the idea that Patreon wants is that there's rolling, right? Like, you sign up and you get charged from that day. It didn't used to be that way. Almost everyone that supports me on Patreon got in before the change happened, so they get charged on the first. The first is also when, you know, like when the people that I follow on Patreon, that's when I get billed as the first, and that's fine. It's been easy enough to go like, okay, well, the money I owe is very little, and then I know how much I'm supposed to get, and it's all that. So Patreon takes money away from the money they would give me to pay for the people I support, and then I just make that right. And that's fine. It's never been an issue. About 2 months ago, things changed over on Patreon, and now the money doesn't show up sometimes until the second. Today, money appeared that I could take out. Now, it's still also 3 to 5 business days, so I won't get that money till the middle of next week, which is annoying. It just means it'll be later, or I'll take some money out and use that money and then replace it, and it's not a big deal. But it's just frustrating because that's like, that money is, sorry, I need to make sure I'm doing this correctly. A17 and A21. I got to make sure that I'm doing that. A17, was that A17? A17, okay, and then A21, okay, great. It's just frustrating because that money goes towards buying model kits, and basically now, like, the idea of, okay, you get charged on the first, everyone gets charged on the first, and it goes through, and then like the money's available, and I take out the money when I need it. Like, that's fine and great, but now, I never quite know when that money's going to arrive. And that's incredibly frustrating that I just never know exactly when I'm going to get that money. And the fact that it takes so long, that it takes all those business days, just tells me that, like, Patreon could do it a different way. They could do it a different way, completely. And they choose not to. They choose to do this method. And it's very frustrating. And now they've made it even more difficult to get that money. Now, as I said, it would be a different story if I was not someone that came in on Patreon early on. If I came into Patreon fairly recently, then, like, I would take money out every once in a while. I probably wouldn't do it on the first, and I would do it like a couple times a month. As is right now, I do it once a month because so I have a couple people that support me on Patreon that do so, that came in after the change was made. So they come in and that money comes into my account, at a different time, which is cool and fine. And then I just go and wait on it. And it's just like a couple days. But the majority of the money that's coming in comes into me all in the first. And it's just frustrating. It is just a frustrating thing. Because it's pretty new that they're doing this, and I'm just annoyed by it. I can't pretend like it isn't annoying. All right, so now we got to put the arm on, and then the shoulder, and then we will panel line this, and we'll panel line it before I put the shoulder shield on. But let me get the hand on here. I wish these hands were a different color. I'm a little annoyed. I wish these were 2 pieces, and one was black, and then one was the red there. I don't like that this is all the same color. Not a big fan of that. Anyway, let's panel line this, and then we'll move on. So yeah, I'm a little annoyed with Patreon. Do better. Make funds available. Stop making people wait 3 to 5 business days to get their money. That's fucking silly. Nobody else is doing that shit. Rude. Let's see. I watched some wrestling today. The results of Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk have not happened yet. That match is still going on. And so I will talk about that match on Monday, along with the night 2 of SummerSlam. But I did watch a lot of SummerSlam before the stream started because I didn't have anything going on after dinner. And I was like, well, I'll just watch some fucking wrestling. Short matches on the shorter side. The longest match of the night was the opener, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, who defeated Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. After the match, it seemed like maybe Braun Breaker got hurt, but that might be kayfabe or could be real. Some of the dives tonight looked a little like pretty dangerous and not great in a couple matches. Roman and Jey winning, I'm not surprised that happened. I think it would have been more interesting if they had lost, but then if they lost, I don't think Roman's taking the pin, which means Jay's taking another pin, and I don't love that. So instead, I'm fine with how this worked out. Keep that storyline going, probably. Maybe we'll get a singles match between Roman and Braun or Roman and Bronson, and that sounds pretty good to me. Since Jay was just kind of thrown into this, who knows? But I thought the match was fine. The 1D was pretty cool. Cool to see Roman take part in the Usos finisher. That's a fun bit of business. I like that. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are your new WWE Women's Tag Champions. They defeated the Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, which will further some storyline. And now we push off either Charlotte turning heel or Alexa turning heel, because now they are the partnership that, like, they get along, but, you know, Alexa is still kind of a loose cannon and Charlotte's not sure. But Charlotte's finally getting a face reaction from the crowd. The crowd is, like, into it. They like the storyline. And it will mean more when one of them turns on the other one, inevitably. And it should be Charlotte. She's better as a heel than a face, but it probably won't be. They'll probably do the wrong thing, have Alexa turn, and then have the crowd not be on board with Charlotte. But I thought this was a fine tag match. I think Raquel Rodriguez should stop wrestling and just go full-time into being a backup bodyguard muscle, because I think her in-ring work is not particularly great, but I think her presence is fantastic, and I think she's a valuable asset in wrestling. I just don't think that she should be doing the wrestles, because I think there's just so many more people that are far more talented in that company, and she just falls behind in all categories. That's my hot take about Raquel Rodriguez. Sami Zayn defeated Karrion Kross by pinfall in a singles match that was one of the better matches on the card. Unsurprisingly, two guys who can fucking work and have an interesting, weird story got to tell their interesting, weird story in the ring, and I was happy to see it. Let's see, so I need 16 here. Now, so Sami won, which means that Karrion had to admit that he was wrong about Sami, because Sami didn't want to cheat to win or whatever nonsense that he was saying. Karrion Kross probably should have won this. I'm not surprised he didn't, but he probably should have. Yeah, and if Karrion had won, then Sami would have had to say that. Sami would have to say, "You're right. I'm not a good person," which is just a fun stipulation. You know, that, like, oh yeah, you lost the match, so you have to admit that you're not a goodie. It's like, okay. I thought that was a fun, stupid stipulation. But yeah, didn't have to see that. There are rumors that Karrion Kross's contract is going to run out. They're going to let him go, and then that's maybe as a swerve. I don't know what they do here with him losing. I don't know where they go. My assumption is that they keep the storyline going for a while. And then eventually figure out what the end game of the storyline is. That's my belief. I have no reason to think otherwise right now, that they're going to keep this story going. But maybe they wrap the story up. Maybe they're like, actually, we're good. This was all we wanted from this story, and now we can move on to the next bit. But I don't know. I assume there will be more to come. Tiffany Stratton retained the WWE Women's Championship against Jade Cargill in a short match that I was very surprised was this short. Now, Jade Cargill and long matches does not necessarily go well together. I think they didn't do Jade any favors by putting her in this match. I think Jade is certainly a better wrestler than she's been, but I would not call her a particularly skilled wrestler. And I think the tag division made a lot of sense for her to be in that tag division. And I would say she should probably stay in that tag division. This was the dud of the night. I just thought it was kind of going by the paces. It is a sad state of affairs to me when I can tell you that the best part of the match was the fact that Jade was dressed in colors representing the Jamaican flag. That was a good bit of business. And that's basically all I could say about the match. It's like, oh, that ring gear is pretty cool. But otherwise, I was like, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. And then in the second longest match of the night, other than I think Gunther versus Punk is going to go longer, Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul defeated Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. And I will be dead honest with you folks. I called that wrong. I thought it was a no-brainer that Randy Orton and Jelly Roll were going to win this one. I thought for sure that that's how this was going to go, because I was like, that's just such a crowd pleaser, and it's going to work so hard, or like it'll work so good, and like I just feels like you got the celebrity coming in, but I should have taken into consideration the fact that Jelly Roll really genuinely loves wrestling, and probably wanted to lose this match to set up another one. If you told me that Team Logan versus Team Jelly Roll is the Survivor Series match this year, I would completely and totally believe you. I think that might be what we're building towards, which is a bonkers statement to make. But I think Jelly Roll this is not a one and done deal. I think he's psyched about being in a position where he can do the wrestles fairly okay. But yeah, I think we're expecting more. But I did not see that outcome coming. Did not see it coming. And then refresh to see the thing I wanted to happen happened. I have to get into a Discord. It happened. The thing I wanted to happen happened. That's awesome. I just wrote into a Discord that talks about wrestling. I called it ? Exclamation point. ? Exclamation point. Anyway, back to my stream. CM Punk defeated Gunther by pinfall and became the new World Heavyweight Champion. And then Seth Rollins cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase, defeating CM Punk, and is now the new World Heavyweight Champion. Which fucking rules? Look, it's kayfabe. It's all, written. It's all predetermined. Sorry if I'm the one breaking this to you. But CM Punk winning a major title in WWE for mere moments is very fucking funny and good, and I'm very happy about that. Now, will he win it? Probably. You probably win it back at some point, but this rules. I love this outcome. Seth Rollins was reportedly injured. He had reportedly got injured for real. He had a match where that LA Knight won, and it really looked like he got hurt. Now, it could be that he did get hurt, and they did call an audible in that match previously at Night of Champions, and then they were like, let's pretend you're really more hurt than you are. But either way, apparently he was not as hurt as he presented himself to be, because he went away to go get healthy, and he was seen at Evolution, the Evolution pay-per-view, on crutches, and Seth Rollins is a better actor than I would have given him credit for. I think that's phenomenal. Good for him. Do I love that Gunther was a transitional champion? No. I'll say this. I don't love that Gunther beat Jey Uso to win that belt back, because they wanted Gunther versus Goldberg to have a belt. I hate that. I think Gunther versus Goldberg did not need a belt and could have main evented that Saturday night's main event and would have been fine. And they put a belt on it, and I think they didn't need to. I think taking the belt off Jey was a mistake. I think CM Punk beating Gunther is also a mistake. In my mind, the way to do it is to have Rollins make it a triple threat, which he's already done once before, and then pin CM Punk. because it makes Gunther look weak as hell, and there's no reason to make that man look weak. But I do also love the idea that maybe, he's not going to get his rematch against Punk, so maybe we'll have a triple threat match or something. I don't know. But it's good. It's good business. Again, it means that CM Punk isn't champion. He was briefly champion, and that is funny to me. Do I think he'll be champion at some point? Yeah, probably. But I think it's a good bit of business. Makes me wonder how they're going to do the main event. Apparently, CM Punk versus Gunther was 30 minutes, so I'll be watching that tonight after the stream, which will be fine. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I am interested in seeing what that's going to be, because John Cena basically cut a babyface promo on SmackDown saying that, like, he was led astray and he was, like, convinced by people to do this thing and he didn't want it. And I think that's a work. I don't think they're making him, but they also could want him to finish his run as a babyface. But I think he is playing mind games with Cody Rhodes to make Cody not want to be the villain in their match. I think that's what they're doing. I don't know. But it would be very funny if they do. They keep Cena heel. It hasn't been a good run as a heel champ, but they could do it. I want to see R-Truth come out and not forgive John Cena, and somehow that costs Cody the match. I don't know. Or Cody still cheats to beat him, and then Cody starts getting booed. They do the double turn. They could do that. I don't know. Anyway, I had to jump in to this Discord where I talk about wrestling, because I literally said, if Punk wins, I want Seth Rollins to cash in on him immediately. And that's apparently what happened, and that makes me happy, because hopefully that's as close as Punk gets to sniffing the belt. That's good business. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying that bit of business there. That's good to me. That's good bullshit to me. I'm into that. All right, just about done here with panel lining the other arm. We are about to move on to, I think, the legs or the waist. I don't know what we're doing next. What are we doing next here? We're doing the legs. We'll do the legs next. There's nothing for the legs to go into. I don't know why we don't do the head. I don't know when the head gets built. Or the head. Okay, yeah, we build the waist, and then we put it all together. We build the head, and then the weapons. Okay, well, we're moving on here. Moving on to the next build, part of the build. The legs. You may see headlines out there that are painting an inaccurate portrait, and so I want to clear the air here a little bit and give you the proper information that is out there so that you have that information. You may hear that Gynex got sold. Studio Gynex. It's not the Gynex you're thinking of. Don't worry about it. Gyna, which is a studio that used to be a subset of Gynex, but then got dissolved. Gynex is the company, that many years that made a bunch of cool anime over the years and spun off into some other stuff, and some people left to form Trigger, and their hallowed history. Anyway, at some point, Studio Gyna has made stuff. None of they've never made anything I've covered, but they work in Kichoji. Basically, after the tsunamis, there was a split there where in Fukushima. So after the Fukushima tsunamis, Gynex opened a subsidiary studio and a museum. They took over another museum about animation to hopefully attract tourism and interest in the area from people as like a public good. And then there was still a company. And then eventually they divested of that company and split them apart And so that studio that used to be called Fukushima Gainax got renamed into Studio Gaina. And Studio Gaina has sold all its shares to a holding company that is, and the name of the studio will be changing. So what used to be Fukushima Gainax, that was then Studio Gaina, is now being called Benton Film. And they are under the direct control of an AI animation company called Creators X. So the holding company that owns that bought it from another holding company that got it in July of 2018. It is just a bunch of bullshit. So basically, when the Gainax subsidiary got bought by got sold and then bought out, they changed the name so that people didn't associate the two together, which is smart. And then it got bought by an AI studio, and that's just frustrating. The fact that AI companies are acquiring animation to get their foot in the door is bad for everyone. Gonna be a real fucking bummer. No word on if there's gonna be more of Top or of Neria, which is basically Gainax. The original Gainax has the Gunbuster franchise. The Gunbuster franchise is not called Gunbuster in Japan. So Top Onare. There's no word if who has control of that, because it looked like they were going to be making a movie, but now it's been sold again. Maybe that will revert and they won't be able to make a movie, and we won't see a Gunsmith movie, or sorry, Gunbuster movie made with AI, because that would be not great. Anyway, that was some shitty news there that I was not thrilled to see. But sometimes we have to talk about the shitty news that comes out. So we just. All right. So we need that. We got this in there, and then I need B227. Working on our feet here. Gotta get the feet ready. Working on our footsies. Let's see. 27. Great. All right. Other news. The next Battlefield game is not going to have DLC skins, apparently. Well, at least according to a producer from DICE. I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj. Let's keep it real, keep it grounded. Want people to express themselves, have cool skins, and peacock in a way like I look pretty cool and I have a great weapon skin. But we want it to feel authentic to the franchise because, of course, Nicki Minaj is in Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare a couple years ago. And there's been a lot of stuff like Rick and Morty, Beavis and Butthead, Jay and Silent Bob. Here's the thing. I don't believe them, because the numbers that EA has said that DICE has to hit as far as concurrent players and copies of the game sold, like, I feel like EA is going to say, hey, why aren't we doing what Activision is doing? Like, it's all well and good for the producers of the game to say, we don't want that stuff, we want to keep it real. That's all fine and good. I think that is a good way to look at it. But their bosses are going to look at the numbers. They're and it should mention, inflated, insane, ridiculous numbers. The numbers that they think that they're going to hit, or the targets they have for Battlefield 6, are incredibly high and unbelievably impossible. But they're not gonna hit those numbers, and then they're gonna be like, well, what's our skins plan? Like, what's our celebrity involvement plan? And they'll be like, oh, we didn't want to do one of those. And they'll be like, why the fuck didn't you want to do one of those? Now we have to lay you off because the game didn't sell as well, not because the game sold well, which is the other reason why we were going to lay you off. Because, of course, no matter what, when DICE is done, EA is going to lay people off at DICE because that's what fucking video game companies do. There's no way that's not what they're going to do, which fucking obviously fucking sucks. But still, they can say they're not going to put any skins in there, but I feel like they're going to eventually put some fucking skins in there. But yeah, that's what they're trying to say. They're going to keep it grounded and all that. And yeah, maybe they can stick to their guns. So I'm not going to get too deep into... Dizzy says, evening, Pat. I started rewatching Gundam Wing. That hero interaction still goes hard. Yeah, Dizzy. I would say that some of the most successful stuff in Wing is by making Hero unlikable to a demographic that likes that he's unlikable. Because the thing is, people talk a lot about the pretty boy element of it, right? Oh, they got 5 boys, and they're different kind of boys, and it's a whole boy band kind of thing. And that's true. That's there. And I think that's a reasonable take on it. But the thing that, because people are like, they did this to bring in an audience that wasn't super into Gundam, which is, again, a lie, because there were women that are interested in Gunpla. There were women and non-binary folks out there that were interested in Gundam as a show and all of that. But they were tapping into a market that wasn't being served by Gundam fully. And it's the people that want to watch shows where the main character is someone that they are convinced themselves they can fix. I could fix him. Because, look, that's usually the territory in Gundam of the antagonist. The antagonist is someone that you're like, oh, they're broken. Oh, they're clearly evil, but they wear that cool mask, and I could fix them. In this case, they were like, what about this teen that is really stunted and isn't a complete person? Do you want to try to fix him? Do you want to pine over him? Here's Hero Yui. And people responded to that by saying, yes, this is what I would like. Rhythm motion. Yes. I mean, look, all that music is, oh God. Just communication, rhythm, emotion, unbelievable. 2mix knew what the fuck they were doing. 2mix could make a goddamn jam. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable jams from the 2mix team. Just ridiculous. Is this the right... Did I do this properly? This looks like it would be correct. Working on the right leg here. So we go like this, though. We'll go like that. There we go. That looks right. Okay. That's how this leg goes. Got it. Trying to figure it out. Just trying to make sure I get every part of this done correctly here. And if I mess up, I fix it. Yeah, the Disney, the dub is a product of its time, and it is a thing of there wasn't a lot of communication in there and all of that. And yeah, it is a little bit stiff. There's some people there that are that are doing their best given the circumstances, but yeah, still a solid show. Still worth checking out. But yes, one of the big selling points of Wing wasn't necessarily that they had pretty boys. It is that they had a variety of broken boys. A dark and mysterious boy, and a makes jokes to hide his pain boy, and a misogynist boy, and a nice boy, just an unbelievably nice boy, just a good nice boy, a rich nice boy. They had a well-to-do nice boy, and a death scythe. Yes, Death this for everybody. You're telling me this quiet guy is a clown? You got a quiet clown guy? Perfect. Yeah. Troa hits a lot. Troa did it for a lot of people. And then you're like, why is this guy such a fucking misogynist? And it's like, well, his teenage bride died. And you're like, what? But he also didn't really care about her, but he is sad that she died. And you're like, all right. It's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Actually, don't worry about it. It's fine. We're gonna move past. Well, let's move past that. It's okay. And you're like, all right, cool. And then you like think about it for another second, and you're like, wait, the Chinese guy that's okay. Cool. Wait, okay. That's what we're doing here? All right. This is the right leg. I think I'm this is tough to read. It's tough to look at here, and so I think I might be doing this incorrectly. So let's pop this apart and let's take a look at it. This gray scale is not great for my particular eyes, so I'm going to pop this apart and I'm going to take this slowly. All right, so this is how it's supposed to look. This goes this way. That. This. Okay, is this how you want it? Okay, so this is how you want it. And then this piece goes on this side. That goes like that? Nope, that's not how that goes. It's got to go this way. Then I look at it. Okay, so this goes like this. And this has to go like that. And then I think this is correct. All right. I think I'm doing this leg correctly. Yes. No. Oh, God damn it. And then, yeah, because it's got to go like this. This is the right leg, and it goes like that. And it goes like this. All right, I think I've done this leg properly now. We'll see. We'll see. If I fuck up the leg, I can always go back and fix it. It's not the end of the world. True solution to make a popular Gundam: tormenting pretty boys or queer-coded women. Yes, a time-honored tradition. And then they messed with the formula a little bit eventually, Dizzy, in that they were like, also, hey, you know a thing about Hero that we liked? He seemed to be emotionally stunted due to trauma. We should probably have more of that. That sounds pretty good. We'll do that a couple more times. To success. And certainly did eventually work out. All right. Okay. I'm pretty sure that that's how the right leg is supposed to look. Pretty sure I did the right leg correctly. This looks good. Yes, Dizzy. I mean, I would say that that is probably a thing that they got way too into and perhaps did lean too much in that direction. I don't think that is an incorrect statement, and I think you are right to feel that way about Unicorn, that maybe they went a little too far with that. But also, I would say that in Iron Blood and Orphans, if you were doing if you're deciding we're really going to focus on the child soldiers aspect of that and how fucked this is, and you didn't treat those characters as broken, then I think that you would have been doing a major disservice. So I applaud that decision. I think they were right to go like, okay, well we gotta like lean in and focus on this aspect of it, because kids are fucked. And we haven't, so if we're going to focus on that, then we have to go all the way. And I appreciate them for that. So I was going to talk a little bit, that it's a larger thing talking about these payment processors, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Stripe, all of these things that are being basically starting to put more and more restrictions into what can and can't be sold on various sites and services. They generally focus on illegal content, which is like, yep, totally understand. But also, especially in the case of MasterCard, there is a lot of moral stuff, which is undefined, because defining it, they don't want to define it, because then they would have to enforce those definitions. And by keeping it vague, they don't have to do that. Their MasterCard put out a statement, which was just complete nonsense, that contradicts their own statements they've made previously and the things they've said to other people and all that. And it did eventually, Itch is now starting to put up free, not safe for work tagged material, and they're going to start trying to reintroduce some other stuff. Of course, there were plenty of things that got caught in that are not, that are adult content, not necessarily not safe for work content. It's a whole mess over there. Valve actually said something, and this is telling us that that the calls made to these services is working, because Valve made a statement, and Valve doesn't make statements. They don't do things. A statement, Zaku, a spokesperson for Valve, said that while MasterCard did not communicate with it directly, concerns did come through payment processor and banking intermediaries. So MasterCard hasn't said anything to them. Yeah. I mean, Lord Crashington, unfortunately, that doesn't immediately mean that stuff can come back up, because they have to manually review all of this stuff. And Itch is a very small team. So just by making it free, that doesn't mean that suddenly they can come back on Itch like it's been no problem. Also, they don't get, I should say, make this clear, Lord Crashington, they don't get to do that. They're locked out of their materials. They can't do that. Devs on Itch that have their content blocked can't flip a switch and make it free. They can't touch their materials. That's something they would have to negotiate with Itch, or Itch would have to negotiate with them. So that is not a workaround, unfortunately. They are just stuck right now. So basically, MasterCard just didn't talk to them. They didn't talk. MasterCard doesn't talk to anybody. They're just making these decisions, and then telling processors like, hey, don't work with this because of X, Y, and Z. So now, like I said, Valve had to say something, which is fucking wild. Payment processors communicated this with Valve. We replied by outlining Steam's policy. Payment processor rejected this and specifically cited MasterCard's Rule 5.12.7 and risk to the MasterCard brand. So basically, that's actually what comes down to it. MasterCard's statement isn't accurate to their own, the things they've been telling payment processors, and what they wrote on Twitter don't match up. And generally, it's the thing they can do, which, I should be clear, lots of fucking things, like lots of this stuff happens this way. Lots of companies have these kind of things where it's just like, hey, any other material the corporation deems unacceptable to sell in connection with a mark, which is the processors. So basically, they can just say like, hey, we can decide at any point, if we don't like what you're selling, you can't use us to sell it, which is like generally for liability. Now, when it comes into breaking the various codes of conduct and all that stuff, it's a slippery slope, and again, undefined, and it's just vagaries. And MasterCard wouldn't care if MasterCard didn't want to care. If they didn't want to care, they wouldn't care, right? Like, if they could easily choose to just be like, well, we trust you to sell your own guidelines and we don't care because it makes us more money. Generally, in these instances, money wins out. It's only for the fact that whoever runs that company has in general, puritanical beliefs that money doesn't win out. Money gets overridden by that, and it becomes company policy and all of those things. Because you can just tell the 1,000 people that have called you about it from Australia, okay, whatever. Yeah, I mean, Dizzy, I'm not even getting into the age verification stuff in the UK, because the UK will sort that out eventually, because it will lose them business. And like any other thing, that will get itself sorted out. Because it will affect their bottom line. This is a thing that is more global and kind of has nothing to do with that in this particular instance, because this is not about privacy or anything like that. This is about trying to get rid of things that some people do not like, because they have convinced themselves that those things are tied to those things are tied to their I mean, yeah, I'm not telling you something you haven't already understood and you're already aware of. These things are not based in safety. They always say they are. They are not based in safety. They are based in control. They are consistently based in control. And then again, you would hope that large corporations like this would not be controlled by religious zealots, but since they are, you have to, try to work within the system and make it so that you can basically say, like, all right, well, do you want to keep making money? Then you have to do what's right for your shareholders. But yes, as Lord Crashton put it, is in many ways just corpo bullshit of just like, yeah. And again, part of being online and doing all this is that you have you've seen it in a lot of different ways. Yes, I would say MasterCard saying, hey, don't be mean to us. Stop being mean. You're not getting the full information. Here's the real story. And then the thing they said is just not true is a weird spin. MasterCard probably should have just said, thank you for your concern, blah, blah, blah. Instead, they shouldn't have said anything, honestly. But they did say something, which again means that now Valve is talking, the company that does not want to talk, that just wants to quietly make a lot of money. They want to make money and not video games. And that is a thing that they like, and now they have to talk about it, and they have to like chat about things, and they don't want to fucking do that. They just want to make a bunch of money and not deal with things. And now they have to like have conversations. Oh, they're so mad. They're so mad about that. Yeah. I mean, Lord Crashington, that's not weird, because that's the buzzword. Those are the buzzwords that end conversations, right? You're supposed to, quote unquote, supposed to be able to be like, well, do you want these places to sell illegal content, illegal adult content? And you go, and that's supposed to be the victory. And you go, yeah, yes, the version of protecting kids. Like, don't you want to protect kids? Don't you want to save kids from this? Don't you want to, like, oh, so you want all of this illegal stuff with all these things and all that? And then they have to go like, they don't want the conversation, the nuanced conversation, where you respond with, you and I have different definitions of what illegal content is. And you and I have different ideas of how you can protect children. But yeah, you want to say those things. You want to. Those are the words of people that want to shut down the conversation, because to argue with them is to argue in favor of those things, which is why they go after pornography like this. But then it's a slippery slope, because of course it's a slippery slope, because then you're you're not just defending these things, you're defending other things, and it becomes this nightmare scenario where you don't win. And so you just have to say, all you can say is, we know what you're doing here. We know what you're doing here. That's all you can say. Yes. Yeah, it is all just attempts to shut down the conversation because they don't want to have the conversation. That's all these things are. They are an attempt to because to be nuanced in that regard, they don't want to be nuanced. They don't want to compromise. They just want those things to go away because they find those things to be abhorrent, and they would prefer to just have the things exactly the way they want them. And they do not, they want the deviant stuff out, and they consider all of it deviant. A fucking nightmare. Completely changing topics here, completely changing it into another direction. Hey, more than 6 million. The hard pivot, yes. More than 6 million Switch 2s have been sold. That's a whole lot of Switch 2s. And 5.83 million units were sold by the end of June. And now, just 4 weeks later, they have sold additional units. And they are now over 6 million. And you're like, Pat, I can't. You look at, because you are trying to be an asshole. You're like, Pat, I can't believe they sold so few Switch 2s in the last couple weeks. That's unbelievable that they didn't even sell 1 million. It's like, yeah. Also, Mario Kart World sold 5.6 million copies. Why so low? Indeed, Lord Crashington. Why didn't they sell one copy of that for every Switch out there? And apparently, the software sales are 8.67 million units. That is across all Switch 2 games. That is nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty good. That's like every Switch has you would expect every Switch to sell one video game, because otherwise, why are you buying it? And that's like 1.5 games. Is that really? Yeah, like less than that per system in the first 2 months. Pretty fucking good. I'm sure they would love it to be higher than that, but there are some people that only buy one video game. Yes, John. So technically, John, you did buy it because they count that. Well, Dizzy, Mario Kart is $80 if you didn't buy the bundle. And guess what? They sold a lot of bundles. Every bundle with Mario Kart, which makes it $50, is a Mario Kart that has been sold. Now, we don't have that number. I cannot tell you how many of those were sold and how many were sold for $80, but a lot of them were sold for $50. The next bundle that comes out that's going to have the new Pokemon game will also be the cheapest Pokemon game in a long time. And that will sell a buttload of copies as well. They also sold a bunch of Switches. Some Switches are going to go up in price in the United States. Switches are going up in price in the United States because of tariffs. They didn't say tariffs. They said market conditions, but they mean tariffs. That will actually probably sell more Switch 2s, because if the Switch is going up, then the only way to... then it just makes more sense to buy a Switch 2. No, I do not believe the conspiracy theory that they're raising the price of the Switch because they want to sell more Switch 2s. They have no problems selling Switch 2s. Also, would not be surprised to find out a bunch of people are buying it with Donkey Kong because they didn't particularly want to play Mario Kart, but they do want to play Donkey Kong. And by all accounts, Donkey Kong is selling. Yes, John. But the Switch is going, as I said, in America, the Switch is going up in price because of the tariffs. So that is not to push people to Switch 2, because like you're saying, the DS went down because they wanted to sell more DSs to people that were never going to buy a 3DS. Yes. Yeah. It's not a conspiracy. Also, hi, I'm John. Yeah. I mean, that's the general take on it, is like, they're not trying to do it to goose Switch 2 sales. They're doing it because they don't want to take a loss on the Switch until they think that everyone fucking has a Switch that is going to buy a Switch, and then they can sell through their stock and make a little bit of money there. But while they think they can still make money on the Switch, they're going to increase the price. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong, but it is what they're doing. Yes, and if the Switch 2 hadn't come out, then the Switch would go up in price, because every game console is going to go up in price, because none of these console manufacturers are getting exempt from tariffs. And if you only want to say bad things, you could ignore the Switch 2 existing and say, well, the original Switch software sales are down 20%. It's like, okay. And how many was that? It's still 24 million units. 24 million copies of Switch games were still sold year to year, which is still ridiculous for a console that is fucking old and didn't have a hot new game, because the hot new games are coming out on Switch 2. So without a hot new game that doesn't, yes, this is Nintendo. These are, John, this does include digital sales, because this is numbers that Nintendo is putting out. This is not, the only way to get Nintendo numbers without talking to Nintendo is to go by UK physical numbers, because that's the only good measure, rubric. But these are their official numbers. They sold 24 million units on the Switch of games year to year, in the course of the year, without having any major Switch release. The last Zelda game. Yeah, the last Zelda game was the biggest game they've had, on their last big game. Let's see. Their IP stuff is down. Yes, and that was May 2023. You're right. Their IP stuff is down because it was up so high because of the Mario movie. That's the only reason it's down, is because it was up unbelievably high, and it wasn't going to keep making more and more money. So this is like, yeah, they're fine. They're doing great. This is all from their fiscal reports. These are the best numbers we can get. And yeah, less people bought the Switch this year than the previous year, which is like, yes. That makes sense. It would be weird if they sold more Switches this year. Because, yeah, in the lead up to a new console, without a price reduction, they're not going to sell a bunch of Switches. That's just not feasible. And more Switch 2s were sold in America than anywhere else. We went gaga for it. Japan is, I think, maybe waiting for a killer game more, even though they had the reduced price Japanese ones. Europe is good, and then international. Europe and Japan are about the same, and then there's like another 1 point something. But most Switch 2s were purchased in the United States. Yes, stock was also pretty limited in Japan, it seems like. It seems like because of tariffs and other things, and the fact that America has proven we will as a country buy expensive consoles, I think they were focusing on America. I don't think they were wrong for doing that. Also, Mario Kart is popular worldwide, but is very popular here. And if you're starting with a Mario Kart game, you sell it in the region that fucking loves Mario Kart. I think Donkey Kong's going to sell well everywhere as well. Now is the part of the stream where we stop talking about Nintendo. And we start talking about Sony. Now, this is my pause for the cause. This is my opportunity to talk to you about ways that you can support what I do here. Everything I'm about to mention here is optional. You are under no obligation to do any of these things. But if you would like to, I'd love that to happen. If you're currently a subscriber to the Build with Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here financially, through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime, you can, you want to link that with your Twitch, get Twitch Prime. You can use that token for anybody. If you want to use it for me, that would be cool. You don't have to, but you can. It's a new month. If you want to be the first person to gift a sub this month, we're currently at 22 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up about my number count when I hit 40. If you want to become a subscriber, you can do that. If you want to gift a sub, you can do that. If you want to throw some bits, you want to cheer, throw some bits my way, you can do that as well. I mean, there are other ways to support me. This is the easiest way because you're already here on Twitch. Now, despite my annoyance at the way that Patreon pays out, I still continue to have a Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. Over there, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. There was a poll that went out for my $10 patrons that went out today, or went out yesterday, I should say, about what I was going to start building once I finished Char's Zaku 2. So we're gonna start that because of that. There was a Q&A video that went out a couple of days ago for patrons, so you can check that out too. Thank you so much to everybody that supports me over on Patreon. Now, I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Over on my YouTube channel, subscribing is of course free if you want to jump in on there. And if you want to become a member over there for just $2 a month, you become a member, and you get my you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. You get it a day before. And I got some videos to check out. We're new month. We're in a new month here, so you can find out what the new theme is, and you can hear about a show that I really like that fits that theme. And you'll be able to see that on Tuesday. What else can I say? Those are all monthly ways to support me. If you would like to throw $1 or $2 in the tip jar, well, I have a Ko-Fi and a PayPal, and you can make a direct donation. And everything I make through those direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense. So watching my videos helps me out through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I pull money to buy model kits and Lego sets and the like. The kit that I'm starting tonight, the G-Quux, I was able to pick that up because of past U's generosity. So past U is helping present me. If you want to help out future me, those are various ways to financially support the stream. I have an Amazon wish list. If you want to buy something for me to build, like I'm building this, and have it jump the queue and get a dedicated YouTube video called a mailbag video, you can buy something from my Amazon wish list. I've got model kits and Lego sets. The jigsaw puzzle right now is on sale If you want to get it for fucking cheap, you can buy that jigsaw puzzle, and that'll be the next thing that I have to work on. But I got Lego sets and model kits, inexpensive kits, expensive kits. I recently added a horse mech, the 30-minute missions horse mech. I thought that would be fun to build. That's fairly reasonably priced. All kinds of different things and things. If you see something there you'd like to see me put together, you can pick that up. We haven't built Lego in a while. If you want to see me build Lego, buy that off my wish list, and I'll build that. The Goku and Vegeta mini model kit from Dragon Ball Daima is on sale. It is $3 cheaper than it was when it went up on Amazon. So if you see that and we need to build those, you can pick that up. All kinds of different things and things, stuff I would love to put together. And some gear at the bottom, because it's, sometimes people want to support me, but they're like, I don't know what a model kit to buy, but I will buy you these headphones to replace the headphones you currently have that are getting a little junky. You do that. This is a way to support. My alternative to Amazon, because it's nice to have alternatives, is Throne. I have a wish list on Throne. See if there's something there you'd like to pick up for me to build. And, of course, if you want to support me, but it needs to take a lot of steps and be very convoluted, here is the way to support me. That is the most ridiculous. Go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you can buy a gift card. They will send you a gift card code. And with that gift card code, you can then copy it, and you can send me a whisper here on Twitch, or a DM on Twitter, or Blue Sky, or Mastodon with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. That is, again, the weirdest way to support me, but it is a way to support me if that's how you'd like to do it. Some people have. People have done it. More people have done that than Throne. Couple of video links for you to check out. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, I will have a new episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club up on my YouTube channel on Monday. The most recent one was me talking about some anime that I wish I hadn't recommended. Every season I wait a couple episodes and I talk about some stuff that I'm enjoying. I should have waited longer on some of these instances, and I regret recommending them. None of them are like god awful, but they're like maybe not worth your time. And hey, guess what? The video I'm putting out on Monday is my anime recommendation series. But I've now waited like several episodes into a show before I recommended it. I'm now going to wait later before I do that. It won't be if the first video of a season is like the recap that, and then the second one is all of the isekai out, the third video of the season won't be that. It'll now be the fourth video of the season. I'm making changes based on feedback and my own interest and thoughts. And then, Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. For whatever reason, this Kuma Baer did very well for me. It's about the anime Food for the Soul, which is a fantastic girls doing things show from the spring 2025 season. I think it got overlooked because it is lighthearted and fun and cute. And it is about college girls trying to find, girls trying to find community and food and hanging out. And it is, some of the characters are really silly and fun. There's a lot more depth to some of these characters than you normally get in one of these shows, because a lot of these shows, usually it's about whatever they're doing. So the girls are kind of like blandish. That's not the case with this show. It's real good. Watch my 1 minute and then watch the whole thing. And it's it's a nice transition into this current month, August theme, because that's a show about, this is about some really chill slice of life. And this is a pretty chill slice of life. Chill slice of life and girls doing things are not the same. They are similar, but they are not the same. Even if there are some chill slice of lives that do have a lot of girls doing activities, that is not a necessary feature for it. And in fact, I have next month is girls doing things, and most of those shows, not girls doing things, it's chill slice of lives, and only one of them is also a girls doing things. I'm going to talk about a show next month that I can't believe I went a year and a half without talking about on Kuma Baer. I can't believe I haven't talked about this show. It's unbelievable. I was like, oh, I must have talked about this show last year, and I didn't. crazy. Anyway, I'm going to talk about some other anime that I've been watching, some current anime. And to get into that, I need to transition back to the overhead camera. I need to drink some water. And we're going to do all of that right now. All right, let's build the waist, and we can put this all together. This kit is almost done. We got to do the waist, the head, and the weapons. I maybe could have said that we weren't going to start the G-Quux tonight, but we will start the G-Quux tonight. That's just, it would be weird if we didn't, but we're getting there. We're getting close to it. B13 and B14. It's this color right here. All right. Now I'm going to talk to you while I am continuing to work on this model kit. I will talk to you about the 5th episode of The Water Magician and the 4th episode of Secrets of the Silent Witch. Okay. This episode is mostly about other people in town. As shit is starting to kick off, our main character, the Water Magician, he is basically a bunch of people have to work really hard while our guy is just off flirting. There is a lot of action here because they are starting to notice, our characters are starting to notice that, hey, there are monsters in levels of the dungeon that shouldn't be there. They're like high tier monsters in low tier levels. Like something's going on. It's getting weird. So they start fighting some goblin archers. We get to see some other people fighting each other. Ryu is trying to help out some people himself. He's trying to train. So he was like, okay, so the demon, the Akuma that I fought, she was very fast, and it was very clear she was using her wind magic to move fast. Maybe I could do that with my water magic. Doesn't work out. He tries it. It's not working. That fails. Nina is concerned that the goblins that normally appear that are in weird places and things are getting kind of fucked up. The head of the guild is telling the top 2 teams, Crimson Sword and White Brigade, to start investigating. And they use the phrase, Great Tidal Bore, which is another way of saying monster stampede. That is often called monster stampede in this kind of fiction. But basically the idea is a bunch of monsters get grown, and then the high-end monsters go into places where the low-end monsters usually live, which forces the low-end monsters to leave the labyrinth and the dungeon, I should say. And that's where the people are. So then, because they built their city up and around the dungeon to make money off of it, and then the monsters come out. And that's not good for anybody. This has happened before apparently. Meanwhile, Ryo is just like looking, he got permission to go to the Royal Library. He's looking up stuff. He wants to find out things about the Akuma, the demons that he fought, and learn more about his enemies. He runs into an elf that he met earlier in the show that in the light novel that happens, but in the he meets her for the first time in the manga. But that's the elf that said, "Oh, you're wearing the Fairy King's robes. That's cool." That happens much later in the manga. Anyway, so they are reintroduced to each other. That's named Sarah. They're talking a bit back and forth. They're flirting a bit. He decides he shouldn't tell her what he's actually researching. So he says golems, which is a thing he was going to research before he had started researching that. So he's, keeping some stuff under party, or under his robe there. Apparently the tidal bore is already active. They're a bit too late and things are about to heat up. Our guy Ryo gets a bunch of advice about golems. There is the point now where monsters are starting to flood into the city, and we get to see a bunch of fights there between adventurers and goblins. And then by the end of this episode, a Goblin King shows up, because that probably either the Goblin King influenced these soldiers or these other goblins to go to the surface, or something created the Goblin King artificially. We don't know. I know, but we don't know what happened there, because I know farther ahead in the manga, so I know what's coming here. Anyway, so yeah, then we get to see the Crimson Sword and the White Brigade work together, and they end the what was it called, the Tidal Bore, by defeating this Goblin King. And if you thought perhaps that Ryu would have to come in and save the day, Ryu, I should say, you would have to come in and save the day, he did not have to. He is not the only capable person. He's just more capable than everybody else. But we are building towards a part where he will be unbelievably important. That is coming. This is a fun episode. I'm enjoying this series very much. It is still a slow-paced show. The idea of having the main character just reading books and talking to an elf while other people were struggling with some quote-unquote real shit. I enjoyed that very much. I thought that was I like that. I thought the fights were choreographed well and animated well. This is still one of my favorite shows of the season so far. I highly recommend it. It's on Crunchyroll. Also on Crunchyroll is Secrets of the Silent Witch. If you haven't been watching this, our girl she learned how to cast spells without doing chants because she doesn't want to have to say incantations in front of people. Our girl does not want to communicate. She is on an undercover mission. She is in a school because the second prince is there, and the second prince refuses to have bodyguards, so she is undercover. He is unaware that she is there. He would get her dismissed if she knew that he was, if he knew that she was there. So she is undercover. Meanwhile, there has been some nonsense has been happening. Basically, a bunch of characters. There was some intrigue with the student council. Basically, our girl got brought into the student council again against her will and was forced to help out with an investigation, which she did. She cleared it. The guy that sent her on this mission shows up and is just like, yeah, all right. So it turns out that the student council, the guy that's been helping out with the student council, his wife is pregnant, and hey, the dude that everyone blamed this on, Cyril, he has a lot of ice mana in him, and he's going out of control. Monica shows up, and there was a brooch that he had been wearing that was supposed to expel excess mana, but instead it was supplying it. And you could make the assumption that perhaps that was to kill him if necessary. But it's very clear that he is under some form of mind manipulation. And then Monica recognizes this and confronts the real puppet master behind all of this, Victor Thorley, who was doing embezzlement. He's the person involved in embezzlement, and he's in fault because she saw through the falsified accounts that he had made. He attempts to use mind manipulation on Monica, but she counters it and bounces the spell back at him because she's a fucking very skilled magician, obviously. And that gets knocked out. He gets arrested. Meanwhile, Felix the prince has had a familiar watching all of this, and the familiar is suspicious of Monica. Has Monica's cover been blown? It could have been. We don't know yet. We'll find out. But Felix recognizes that he thinks that Monica joined the student council with ulterior motives, which she joined the school with ulterior motives, but not the student council. The student council is just a thing that she's doing. There's other stuff going on, besides that. And he thinks that she's working for one of the many factions within royalty and all that. So he just assumes that she's there to do some dirty work, which she is. He's just not thinking of the right dirty work. He just doesn't know. He at very least, he has not figured out her secrets yet, which is good. Let's see. Finally, we find out that the other people that are watching Felix is because Felix is likely to take the throne, and that Monica got there to spy on Felix as a way to bully her. Because he enjoys bullying strong people. But that's probably not actually true and not the real reason. He's most likely doing it because he wants to help her get out of her shell, because he's not actually trying to be an asshole. Most likely. There's still the possibility that he's doing it to be an asshole, but most likely he is just trying to help her because she is not good at expressing herself. Next day, student council begins to start to rebuild the trust. And Cyril volunteers to help Monica introduce herself to the other school club leaders, which is cool. So we're definitely... Cyril is a character I did not think would be around as much as he is. Overall, I find this show to be enjoyable. This is an easy watch. I think Monica is a really relatable and fun character. I want her to succeed. I would like her to I am starting to come around to the idea of wouldn't it be cool if she could build friendships and relationships and be not as isolated as she was. But I think it's pretty fun. It is a pretty fun and enjoyable series. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good time. So that's the anime that I have been watching, and now is the part of the stream. It's some people's favorite part of the stream. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? I love hearing from you about those things and things. Let me know in the chat what you got going on. Games, movies, TV, anything you got, books, whatever you got going on. You buy anything at Bandcamp Friday, or you're reading anything that you're real interested in, you want to tell me about, playing any video games, all that kind of stuff. John says, my favorite part of the stream is Pat's airing of grievances, Festivus joke. John, I'm sorry you missed my mini rant on that started at the beginning of the stream on Patreon changing how they do payouts, and now it takes longer to get payouts, and how I'm fucking frustrated by that. So I did air some grievances at the beginning of the stream. For me, look, on Tuesday, I'm going to be playing more Nubby's Number Factory. I love Nubby's Number Factory, and I want to stream it on stream. Also, I should say, I saw the Blue Sky post live. Sorry, that sucks. Yes, I agree. It does suck, and I appreciate that. Thank you. On Tuesday, I'm going to play Nubby's Number Factory on stream. I play that game just about every day. I really like it, and I'm way better at it than I was the last time I streamed it. So I want to show off some high strats, some real cool strategies, and how to get a lot of points, generally using the very good system of doing Tony Jr. So you start with gold and you start in the shop, and then just resetting it until you get an overpowered item early on. Yes, Lord Crashing, you will see some pretty pro play. I've got some good stratagems that I will deploy for your benefit and my enjoyment. I think that you will find that it's a pretty thrilling encounters. Tacozilla says currently building a Law Gundam. Nice. We built the Law entry grade this year. That's a fine Gundam. The good color scheme on that kit. It's an RX-782 clone, but it's got some cool weapons for it. That was a fun build to put together. So I hope you're enjoying your Law. John says, watching Secrets of the Silent Witch weekly as well, catching up slowly on G-Reco, and playing Link to the Past in a friend group's archipelago. Nice. That's fun. That's a fun bit of business. I'm still playing Hearthstone. I have the bullshit deck that I have been using is getting wins. Here's how I know that the deck I'm playing is bullshit. People send friend requests after. So this is the thing you can do is you can send a friend request to someone you're playing against. And then what you do is you send a friend request. And then if the person accepts it, you talk a bunch of bullshit and you swear. And perhaps you say obscenities. And perhaps you even say things that are awful to that person. And then you unfriend them. I have never accepted a friend request for someone that I have beat in that game. I do not need to make friends in that game. That is not something I am looking to do at this point in my life, but it is very funny to see that response, and that is a good indication that the deck I am playing is bullshit. Is that people immediately want to tell me that the deck I'm playing is bullshit, and they're not wrong. They're never wrong. It's just I will never let them tell me that. Wait, what just happened? There it is. It didn't pop out. I was like, where'd it go? Yes, John, I will not miss any of that stuff. You're right. Yes. When people lose and then the decision they make is to say the worst fucking shit imaginable, I do not miss hearing that stuff. I am happy to not hear that stuff, I will say. Or read that stuff. Yeah, I mean, Dizzy, like at a certain point, like, look, you've watched me on here play Hearthstone. I get salty. I don't get salty when I lose to decks that are cool. I get salty when I lose to decks that are, oh, you did this, and then you win. And I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do against you. Like, even the bullshit decks that I play are still require that I, like, get lucky or use some skill to get it done, and I can still lose with those decks. It's just that the scam decks I play are like, well, if I do things right, I put myself in a cool position, and I do a silly thing, and then I maybe win. But, like, when I lose to decks that are just like, okay, this is just a deck that is good until it gets nerfed because people figured out a way to play it. They figured out this deck can just work until one card gets changed, and they're just going to keep playing this deck until that one card gets changed, and then they will abandon this deck, and they won't try to play it in another way. I'm just not necessarily interested in that kind of a deck, watching people play that or do that. It's just not a thing that I'm, like, super into myself. All right, let's build a bazooka. Let's see. Taco says, I got called a hacker on World Warship in a ranked match. Yeah. You know, that's the thing, right? Some people are just like, well, I lost, so you must be doing something. You must be doing something illegal. Because otherwise, I would win because of my mad skills. And if I lost, that's, you know, if I lost, you're cheating. If I won, I'm very good at the game. Let's see. I missed this. Lashbrook says I'm watching a lot of Evo, mostly Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and C vs. S2. And it's been real old man hours out here, but it's been fun seeing a lot of people who aren't as active anymore. Hell yeah. I mean, that definitely feels like that is an older crowd keeping those games alive. But if that's the games you want to see get played, Evo is the place to get played. I have seen none of Evo. The thing I did last night is I watched a great wrestling show. You can see, hey, Coleman, welcome. Good morning to you. You can see my thoughts on this on my Blue Sky account, where I talked about Sendai Girls, who is a small promotion. Meiko Satomura, who recently retired from professional wrestling as an active performer, but is going to continue to run. She has a small promotion that runs a lot of places in... they run in Tokyo, but she's also found that the Sendai area has venues. They keep the roster small, and they bring in some cool guest stars like Aja Kong was in a match, and you could tell there were some older folks in the crowd that were there because Aja Kong was there. And it's like, yeah, man, that's what you got to do. The semi-main event and the main event all had like local sponsors, and one group won a big bag of rice from like a local sponsor. And it's one of those things where you're just like, I don't know, Aja Kong wanted that big bag of rice, even though she lost the match. And like, she didn't get that bag of rice. And then she went over and complained to the local magistrate that was there. And he was just like bowing respectfully and apologizing to her. And it's just one of those things where you're like, he's going to be telling people for years, well, you know, Aja Kong yelled at me once because she didn't win a bag of rice from such and such. It was just like amazing. The main event was fun. The moment before the main event was the thing that really got me, which is Team 200K came out, kilogram, kg, I should say, came out, and they are broad, muscular ladies. They are big ladies, and they came out with their belts. They come out to It's My Life by Bon Jovi, and when Bon Jovi goes, It's My Life, they pose for people's for photography to the crowd, and they go, ah, and they pose with the belts, and they like point, and they go, oh, we should go over to this guy, and they go over to people who have their phones out, and they take, pose for photos. And if they see young kids in the crowd, they will like get permission and pick up the kids and take photos with them, and the kids do the faces and they pose with kids, and it's just so good. It's just like a thing that is not for, like, wrestling is very fucking simple. These ladies are cool as hell, and kids see cool things and they go, that's incredible. I'm having the best time. And they went around and they found another kid, and that kid was like waving her arms, I should say, to get their attention because she also wanted to get picked up and have a photo with them. And it's just like, this is the coolest shit in the world. Wrestling rules. And one of these ladies is also their main champion because Big Hash fucking rules. Yu is retiring. This is part of Yu's retirement tour. I love that they have the tag belts as part of the tour. I'm happy for Yu going out on her terms, even though it is a bummer that she is retiring. But I'm glad that this is part of their retirement. It was really cool. From what I've been told, the youngest person in the Capcom versus SNK 2 top 8 was 37. Yeah, man, that sounds about fucking right. Yeah, all right. Yes, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. My mad skills in card games that has RNG involved. Indeed. That's just very funny. Yeah, Dizzy mentions about Aja's. Yes, Aja is not the same wrestler that she used to be, and it would be impossible for that to be the case because she was the thing that people don't remember. Some people do, but a lot of people that go like, oh yeah, Aja Kong, and like, oh yeah, I mean, Bull, they were incredible. They were like teenagers into their 20s. Their bodies were unbreakable because they were young. That's all it was. They were just young enough to like handle that. And then they got older and the road caught up with them. The thing with Joshi is Joshi wrestle for a while. Japanese women's wrestlers wrestle for a while. And then sometimes they retire. And then sometimes they come back. They retire, they get married, they have a kid or a couple kids, and then they come back to wrestling because nostalgia works on a lot of people, including Joshi, in wrestling. Nostalgia works on that very much so. So if you were a popular wrestler at some point, you can keep going. And then the hope is that eventually these wrestlers figure out that they can do comedy matches, and the crowd is just happy to see them, and the crowd does not need them to put on unbelievably nonsense bumps. But if Aja Kong wants to hit a masked wrestler that has a belt built into his costume that does PowerPoint presentations, if they want to see, they were happy to see Aja Kong beat the shit out of him with a, like Super Sasadango can definitely face Aja Kong and lose, and it's great, and the crowd is totally happy with that. Dizzy, I think I'm fairly confident that that Big Hash doesn't want more than what she's doing. I think that she is happy where she is in the position she is. And I believe she has this is a wild thing to say. I believe that Hash has a day job. And so that's one of the reasons why she doesn't travel internationally that often, is she has a day job that pays better than her wrestling, but lets her wrestle and does not care that she wrestles. But I'm fairly confident that she's got a day job out there, like a lot of Joshi do. A lot of Joshi have side gigs beyond just wrestling. Sometimes I just want to see Murder Grandpa Suzuki run someone over with a bike and then yell at them for not getting out of the way. Yes. Look, sometimes Minoru Suzuki's towel wins a belt in DDT, and Minoru Suzuki gets mad at his own towel and thinks the towel gets jealous of the towel. Oh yeah. Asuka, before she was Asuka, when she was Kana, before she eventually did some stuff. Yes, she was a graphic designer and also worked in games journalism in Japan, which is a fun fact, which I've always loved. That fact is that she worked in games journalism. It's just always a fun little bit of trivia for Asuka. But yeah, I mean, like, Kira Summer from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling still works as an animator. She has a day job doing graphic design for an animation studio. A bunch of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling wrestlers, some of them are trainers with the company, so they work for the company and then work in the company. A few of them do modeling on the side, or they do stage play. A bunch of them do stage plays and keep doing that. And because that's also how they got into wrestling, because they went the stage play to learning about like actress and doing the wrestling that's really just acting performance. Or in the case of Yoppie, who also retired this year, which is sad. She went from the world of modeling to martial arts because she had martial arts training. She was doing fashion martial arts. And then people were like, you should try wrestling. And she was like, aren't I too old for wrestling? And they were like, I don't know. You're a really good actress and gorgeous, so maybe you should do that. And then while she was professional wrestling, she was also, this is the fucking coolest shit, man. This scam, it's not a scam. It's not a scam. I said it was a scam. It's not a scam, but it's good shit. Yoppie did bartending hours. So she would announce, I am going to be doing bartending hours at a bar. Was she a great bartender? I don't know. Was she a wrestler you go hang out with, spend a little money, and talk to? And talk to a gorgeous professional wrestler for a little while, hang out at a bar with some of your friends. And then tip her incredibly well. Maybe even buy some merch, because she would bring merch with her. Fucking so smart. Yes, some TJPW wrestlers have gotten to fulfill their dreams of being an idol by being a wrestler. Some of which are idols within the company. It is more of them have been failed idols who have then become wrestlers. And a couple of them have been successful idols who've been wrestlers. Yuki Arai just retired from being an idol, so she can be a full-time wrestler. And I thought for sure she was going to win their big belt, but she didn't. But I thought she was, because I thought they were going to go all in on Yuki Arai, but they didn't. Anyway, also one of their wrestlers is still in high school, because that's a fucking thing that exists. Two of them are still in high school. One's a senior. But I don't think she's not going to go to university, because Uta is about that wrestling life. All right, so this kit is done. This kit is done. We have completed this. We will be working on the G-Quux starting on, we'll look at it here, we'll get it all sorted, but we won't get into actually building it really too much until Monday stream. I thought this would take less time than it did, but I did want to know. And sometimes they are failed idol, they hate other idol wrestlers. Yes, that is... There's a lot of hate in her heart, and almost in Maki Ito's heart, and almost all of it is fake hate. But there is some real hate in her heart. Don't get me wrong. But some of it is kayfabe. Some of that hate is totally fake. Because she doesn't have a problem with some idols. She does have a problem with some items, for sure. But some of that is just storyline reasonings. But yeah, there are a lot of stuff. But yes, there's definitely failed idols in there. There are idols who failed, and then there are women who tried to become idols and couldn't. They washed out. And then there's also people in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling that started off as wrestlers because they happened upon DDT doing a wrestling show in a outdoor space. They walked by professional wrestling and was like, wait, what? And discovered professional wrestling. And now they're professional wrestlers. There are more than one woman has revealed that discovering DDT is the reason they're not only a wrestler, but still alive. Literally, 2 different Tokyo Joshi Pro wrestlers have stated that it is a fact that they exist because they discovered wrestling, and that is what kept them living. More than one. A group that has only existed for a little over 10 years. And more than one woman is like, yeah, I'm here today because I found wrestling. Unbelievable. Incredible. And then also, wrestling has existed, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling has existed long enough that there are wrestlers there that are there because they went when they were children 5, 6, 7 years ago and saw a wrestler and was like, I want to do that. Ren, their newest wrestler, is there because she liked Yuki Arai in as an idol and found out that Yuki wrestled and went to go see a TJPW show and saw Suzume and was like, that's who I want to be. I want to be Suzume when I grow up. And then a couple years later, she had grown up and she is now a wrestler. Maki Ito was mean to a child in kayfabe, was mean to a young child in the audience one time. And that child was like, I'm going to wrestle that woman someday. And she has. Has she beaten Maki Ito? No. But Haru is going to keep showing up. Because Maki Ito was mean to her once. And now she must beat her someday. And that's... wrestling fucking rules. It's so good and weird and dumb, and I love it. Anyway, now's the part of the stream where we're gonna wrap things up. We're gonna wrap things up there. The G-Quux we can start next time. It's got cool stuff to build with it. It's got cool parts. We'll definitely work on that in the future here. I want to go finish off. Look, I want to go watch that last match. And then I want to go watch Gigi Murin's 3D debut. Gigi Murin, a HoloLive English Justice. Liz had hers yesterday. Gigi has hers, had hers tonight. I want to see what the fuck that was, because that is a literal goblin, but also a goblin on the inside. As John says, we always end with a raid. But I want to watch that because I bet that is nonsense. And I want to see that because I like Gigi a lot, because she is unbridled chaos. And that is fun in the VTuber space. She is one of the weirdest people ever to have a high-profile VTubing job. And so good for her. And I want to go see whatever the fuck that is. Loading Ready Run is still running, but I think they're going to wrap up soon. They were doing their subathon. I believe that is wrapping up. With an episode of Loading Ready Live to wrap things up. So we won't raid them, but good luck to them as they wrap that up. We're gonna go hang out with Liz. On Saturday nights, we often raise Liz Star. She's been going for 9 hours, but she will go for longer than that. She will continue to go because Liz streams a lot on Saturdays for long times. So we're going to go raid Liz. Speaking of VTubers that we want to go hang out with, we'll go hang out with Liz. Liz rules. I hope you come along on this raid for some good video game times, because Liz is lovely, and you'll enjoy Liz Star and her oh yeah, we got some achievement hunting going on there. That'll be fun. Come along on this. Come back on Monday as I actually begin the G-Quux, a kit that I have heard mixed things about. So we'll find out how that works in real time. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.